Oh, the horror. Let the right one in.
For many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him God's speed. For he that biddeth him God's speed is a partaker of his evil deeds. 2 John chapter 1, verses 7 through 11, KJV.
Let the Right One In is a 2008 Swedish horror film adaptation of the 2004 novel with the same name, written by John Edvin Lutzfeld. Tells the story of a bullied 12-year-old boy, Oscar, in the early 1980s Stockholm, who forms an unusual bond with his mysterious next-door neighbor, Eli, portrayed by Lena Leandersson, a 12-year-old girl who he later discovers is an ancient vampire child. Directed by Thomas Alfredson, Let the Right One In was also the subject of a 2010 remake, Let Me In, and a series on Showtime. Having seen both versions of the film, I must say the original was the winner in this battle. Touted as a chilling story of prepubescent love between a boy and a vampire, we will examine how this movie is a cautionary tale of what happens when we aren't sensitive to the warnings concerning who we choose to love and those that we allow into our lives. We must also understand that there are those that you should let in, the right ones, and if there are the right ones, there are certainly the wrong ones. We have a choice here, a decision to make, a one or the other, so to speak. There is no middle ground. The Bible is full of decisions and choices, much like we find here. In Matthew chapter 7, Jesus calls for the reader to be discerning about the choices we make concerning many things. Among them is the broad road and the narrow road. Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 through 14.
Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat, because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Dichotomy. A division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different. As Jesus outlines, there is a narrow and a broad road, and each has its own characteristics, much like the right one and the wrong one, as with the film Let the Right One In. This is so you can tell the difference between the two so that you can make an informed and wise decision. As is outlined, the narrow road is a lonely path, not much space for two to walk side by side and not much room to veer to the left or to the right. No room for double-mindedness. On it, you'll find only a traveler every now and then, and its gate, the straight gate, it's hard to find, and when you do, you'll find it's plagued with much difficulty and hardship, which is why you'll find only a few on it, because not many will be able to endure. So you'll know immediately when you have found it, and when you do, you must persevere through the challenges to stay on it, because if you do, you will find life. On the other, the broad road, by contrast, has many amenities. It's easily accessible, with its wide gate, plenty of room, and many people to gather with. It's like being in Times Square on New Year's Eve. So you too will know when you've found this road as well. But as sweet as this scene may seem, Jesus admonishes us not to enter into this gate, because we must remember that this road leads directly to destruction. In the film, like many situations in life, the relationship between Oscar and Eli starts off fine and dandy in the beginning, but as time soon reveals, things go bad quickly. In the film, Oscar finds himself in quite a predicament when his friend Eli's true identity becomes known. There is a time when certain things can be hidden, but not for long, like Eli's need for blood to feed. Oscar's life, which was already fueled by loneliness and fear, his relationship with Eli takes things to another level. leading them to go on the run and into further isolation, and as well as having to face the fears and dangers that go with that. In our anchor verses, as is throughout the Bible, there is also this dichotomy being presented to the reader. The idea that there is the one that speaks Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, and the other that doesn't speak such. In these verses, we are told that those that speak not are deceivers, and the writer warns that many of these types have entered into the world. The writer also goes on to tell us that as for these that speak not that Christ has come in the flesh, we are to not let these people in our homes, nor are we to wish them Godspeed. Because as these verses go on to explain, because if we do, we run the risk of losing our full reward. These deceivers are also called antichrist because the things they speak are against the teachings of Christ and oppose him. In the film Let the Right One In, Oscar, once drawn into Eli's world, he is forced to conform to her lifestyle, her way of living. This is also why we must look closely at those we choose to have in our circle, because as a vampire, she must live in the darkness. She must feed on human blood. Such a lifestyle leads you to walk a dark path. Now, while in our existence, some may say this doesn't really apply because there is no such thing as vampires. But I would argue, aren't there though? Think about it. You have those that bleed you financially, emotionally, physically, and yes, spiritually. They steal your joy and your peace. They can make you lose a sense of self because their lives are so messy and chaotic. They take up all of your attention, time, and resources. Before long, you find yourself so drained and hollowed out, you have nothing left for you to live on. Like a vampire that has sucked out all of your blood, unless the bleeding stops, you will soon die. The Bible refers to these types as tares, weeds, and whose characteristics bear a close resemblance to their father, the devil. John chapter 8, verses 41 through 44.
Ye do the deeds of your father.
Then say they to him, We be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God. Jesus said unto them,
If God were your father, ye would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech, even because ye cannot hear my word? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it.
In the story of Samson and Delilah, she was certainly a vampire, playing on Samson's love for her through manipulation and her continued questioning him concerning the source of his strength. She eventually wore him down, and because he let her, the wrong one, in, he ended up losing everything. Here's another takeaway. Being a vampire, according to the lore, they cannot enter into one's house unless they are explicitly invited in. Because Oscar didn't know Eli's true identity when he invited her into his life, into his home, she was given unlimited access to his material home and his physical home to do whatever she wanted. The same is for the adversary, the devil. The Bible tells us there are a number of things that we do every day where we are giving the devil access to our lives, where we invite him in. 1. Walking with the ungodly. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 11 through 17. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light. Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. 2. Forgetting about God. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verses 19 through 20. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God, walking in disobedience. Proverbs chapter 1 verses 20 through 26. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city. She uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. 4. Denying Christ. John chapter 3 verses 33 through 36. He that hath received his testimony hath set to his seal that God is true. For he whom God hath sent speaketh the words of God. For God giveth not the Spirit by measure unto him. The Father loveth the Son, and hath given all things into his hand. He that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life. And he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth on him. And 5. Engaging in certain activities. Galatians chapter 5 verses 16 through 21. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like. Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. My final takeaway from the film, Let the Right One In. Eli found Oscar at a vulnerable moment and used that to get him to trust her. Now, whether it was her plan to do so for her to be able to use and or manipulate him, or if she genuinely wanted to help him and in doing so, they became friends, I know not. But what I do know is a lot of times in my experience, people will sometimes study you to see what they can use to get close to you. Not because they genuinely care for you, but in order to get what you have. In the film, Oscar was being bullied, and Eli took care of that, so he was bullied no more. In our lives, we may find ourselves in certain predicaments or having certain needs that leave us open to being exploited. This is what is referred to by Jesus as coming in the back door. John chapter 10, verses 1 through 4.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice.
They come in as your knight in shining armor, which is a lie, the back door, instead of coming to you with the truth through the front door. Hey, I'm Satan, and my intention is really to steal from you, destroy you, and then kill you, and if possible, take you with me to the lake of fire. They are that false light. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 13 through 15. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. So, as spoken in John, What can we do when we aren't sure of who the right one and the wrong one is? Jesus says if you are his, you will not open the door to the wrong one because you know Jesus' voice and another you will not follow. If it doesn't sound like Jesus, upon close observation, their fruit doesn't look like that of Jesus's, and if their actions are contrary to that of Jesus, then it is a big no on opening that door to them. But the problem is, many of us are not studying the word to show ourselves approved. Many of us are not supping with Jesus because we think we can still walk the fence and don't want to be convicted. And because that's what the word does, we don't go near it. Then, if we are being disobedient to all the above, then we are definitely grieving the Holy Spirit by not listening to him when he says no. This, ladies and gentlemen, is when the flesh becomes weak, and even though we know what to do, the right thing, keeping the door closed to the wrong one and open the door to the right one by following Jesus in obedience. So what it really boils down to is, it's really your choice. You have to choose who you want to let in. I pray ye be not deceived.